Mm. Hello. In about 5 minutes, things should begin. Good afternoon. Gathering now in the Alemania in order to have our sharing with the Rector Major, Cardinal Ángel. The Salesian family is gathering now from the sisters, the Salesians, the various members of the Salesian family for this moment to share together with the Rector Major, Cardinal Ángel. Okay, so Cardinal Ángel is arriving right now in the Alemania in the hall and greeting various personages here that are present as he goes towards the stage. So everyone is getting their places now. Their last preparations are being made now for our moment, our encounter with the Rector Major, Cardinal Ángel. Last few arrivals are still coming in, getting settled. I see Sister Leslie, who is introducing now. Your Eminence, Cardinal Ángel Fernández Artime. But may I ask to call you Don Ángel? Thank you. Dear Mother Chiara Cosuela, dear members of the Salesian family, and all of you who are following us in this moment online, welcome, welcome to everyone. And together, as a Salesian family, we want to thank you, Don Ángel, Father and center of our unity, for the gift of the Strenna this year, which is inviting us to all look in the same direction on Don Bosco's footsteps and the origin of our charism towards the needs of our young people and of society today. We are called as a Salesian family to give ourselves and to complete ourselves together. In our spirituality, Salesian spirituality, Mary occupies a singular place, and she, our teacher, we too want to be turning to her, asking her to help us to look at our young people in their real situations today for who they are, learn to become humble, strong, and robust, and to be patient in our reality today. We want to begin our meeting with the prayer, and for this, we will listen to a song. I will give you the teacher, a song that was composed for the animation of the Marian Institute. And for the first time, we'll present it as a gift to the Strenna that you're giving to us today. The person who composed it is Maria Dina Trotti, who composed it, and we want to thank her. This original music that she composed and that will be online for all of us. For this gift, we'll begin with this prayer. Congratulations to Luke and sister. We thank you. I will give you a teacher. We know this deep relationship between Don Bosco and Mary. It's she who realized Don Bosco's dreams to the fullest. The dream that makes you dream, a heart that transforms wolves into lambs, is the theme of our Strenna in 2004. This is a dream that we want to deepen. It's not just a prophetic dream and a vocational project given to Don Bosco, but in the dream, all of us are present there because the dream continues by means of us today. This dream was realized in Don Bosco. Remember his tears as he was moved at the altar of Mary, Help of Christians in the Catholic Basilica of Sacred Heart, as he realized ever more that it was Mary that fulfilled everything and did everything, especially this realization that God keeps his promises and realizes our dreams, each one of our dreams, the dreams of our young people. I just want to now present the video that was produced by Intercommunications, which is helping us with the direct streaming today and have a good vision of this video of the Strenna. It will be in English.
Places carry a story. They speak of what was, they inspire what could be. The future is shaped by our choices, as it was for Don Bosco. Easy to say, but not so easy to understand, trust, and abandon ourselves to this process. When we choose to be still and lower our defenses, our minds open and we become more receptive. When we are silent, then we can hear the gentle voice of God.
At the age of 9, I had a dream. All my life, this remained deeply impressed on my mind. In this dream, I seemed to be near my home in a very large yard. A crowd of children were playing there. Some were laughing, some were playing games, and quite a few were swearing.
It's my fault. He has nothing to do with it. If I didn't do. I'm the one who makes him like this. I should be more like he would like. He loves me. He always tells me. And he always apologizes. He loves me. I force him to be what he's not. He loves me. I must change. He loves me.
Nel sogno dei 9 anni di Don Bosco,
In Don Bosco's dream when he was 9, the boys were extraordinarily real. They are the boys we've met over the last 200 years and will still meet. They have stories, they have problems, they are a bunch of contradictions.
di contraddizioni.
In his dream, young John is called to a daunting mission, to confront the serious challenges faced by his peers. Likewise, our dream calls us to confront the problems that challenge young people today.
Quel non con le percosse del sogno,
That not by blows in the dream challenges us and makes it even more necessary to go out and meet boys and girls. We must stand by them because hatred and violence continue to increase. Our world is becoming more and more violent, and we educators must be an alternative.
dobbiamo essere un'alternativa.
Every day, young people face so many forms of violence. Cyberbullying, for example, which pushes teenagers to the limits, reducing life to a virtual game. But in real life, there is no reset function after the game has ended. And then there's verbal violence, hurled against those who are different, who do not reflect certain standards of beauty, who have physical challenges or a different skin color.
Noi, come famiglia
We,
salesiana,
as a Salesian family, are called upon to intervene. God calls us and gives us the teacher to do so. A mother who takes us by the hand and tells us, "Look,
guarda,
That was not love. All this around me is love. I have to love myself more.
noi, come famiglia salesiana, dobbiamo saper guardare
we, as the Salesian family, must know how to look, like John. When we fail to see the situations experienced by young people, even the most peaceful ones, those who do not seem to have problems, but who face every day with the difficulty of making their dreams come true. And again, when we do not see them for what they are, whether in their most authentic and beautiful form, or in their most tragic and painful one. In all these situations, we are not answering the call. After 200 years, in our time, in our dream, we must look to build eternity.
Addictions trigger a vortex from which there is no escape. Addictions trigger a vortex from which Addictions trigger a vortex from which there is no escape. Addictions trigger a vortex. Addictions trigger a vortex from which there is no escape. From which there is no escape. Addictions trigger a vortex from which there is no escape. Addictions trigger a vortex from which there is no escape. Addictions trigger a vortex. Addictions trigger a vortex from which there is no escape.
Stop. Impara.
Learn. This is the second verb that the teacher in the dream tells us. We must study, try to understand, learn. In this way, we will become humble, strong, and energetic to face all the difficulties of life. To learn is to be strong, but we are not talking about physical strength. It is a strength that is resilience. In other words, the ability not to be discouraged, not to let our arms down as a sign that nothing can be done. Learning means not only studying the evil of our time, but also learning a method to educate. And the method is all in the 9-year-old's dream: goodness, respect, and patience.
La pazienza. Non poche volte I giovani
Young people are often influenced by the dreams of others, which often become their nightmares, of parents, friends, or the conditioning of society. In them, this provokes a sense of mistrust that blocks them. They do not talk about it with anyone, and even if they do not fall into addiction, they live without dreams, convinced that they are never enough, that in this society, to get ahead, you have to compromise, that the future does not exist, only the present exists. That is why it is necessary to explore their dreams with the young people themselves, in the knowledge that for each one, God has a dream, a project designed, tailor-made for us by God Himself.
Life has a purpose. I have a purpose. My story is a dream that I want to realize. Help me to realize it. Oh God, tell me, what is your great dream for me?
Scegliere,
Choosing,
sognare,
dreaming,
decidere
and deciding.
sono tutte cose che
These are all things that involve taking responsibility.
E tutto questo fa paura.
And all of this is frightening. But among the most recurring expressions within the biblical texts, there is definitely, do not be afraid. God tells us, do not be afraid. John Paul II used to repeat to his young people, do not be afraid. And I say to you, young man, don't feel inadequate. This is your dream.
Tuo sogno.
Poverty creates dreams we are enslaved to. What seems like a dream is not always a dream. What seems like a dream is not always a dream. What seems like a dream is not always a dream. What seems like a dream is not always a dream. What seems like a dream is not always a dream. What seems like a dream is not always a dream. What seems like a dream is not always a dream. What seems like a dream is not always a dream.
The last thing the teacher tells us is be patient. Give everything time. Give God time. You can, with your choices, direct, guide, and influence. But it is God who does everything. The expression, make yourself humble, strong and energetic, to which we have already referred, also serves to overcome the temptation to easily abandon our call or passively wait for everything to happen. This danger must be warded off with fortitude and disarmed with the humility of those who are aware of their limitations, but also know that they can count on God's constant presence.
Our age is scarred by deep social wounds, but let's not have any illusions. It was not so much different in Don Bosco's time. Yesterday, poverty drove young people to steal. Today, it drives them to deal. Yesterday, they wielded knives. Today, it's guns. Faced with this reality, what is our response? We can and we must learn from Don Bosco. Like him, we must stand with young people, side by side, offering healthy alternatives, empowering them to make brave choices. Let us unmask the nightmares masquerading as dreams. God still speaks to the young in so many ways. God still does great things with simple instruments, through His Word, welcomed in faith, understood with love, internalized with patience, followed with trust.
Possiamo affrontare tutto?
We can face everything, just as Don Bosco did, step by step, with trust and hope in the risen Lord and in Mary, help of Christians. We are not alone. We will never be alone, because we need others to build ourselves and our dream. Let us trust and entrust ourselves. Let us find our teacher.
This is your mission. This is your mission. This is your mission. This is your mission. This is your mission.
Ora
Everything is clear to me now.
The dream does not end. The future does not end. Yesterday's dream, today's dream, eternity's dream. All our dreams will be God's dream. Together, our mission starts here. This is your mission.
è ora di andare.
It is time to go. It is time to dream, to transform the world, starting with the young. It is time to build eternity.
A dream that makes you dream, in time, in eternity.
Que será la última, ¿eh? Un po' di nostalgia, perché tante cose sono già le ultime. Ciao ragazzo!
So Sister Leslie is speaking again, thanking the Rector Major for this dream, helping us to dream. And we're going to ask Father Gigi give an applause to Father Gigi So we'll give him an applause and all of his team, the email communications that worked on this production. They helped us to really dream. He said we need the others to construct ourselves, build our dreams for ourselves. We cannot do this discernment on our own. It is necessary to be together. To you, we give the word now to help us to understand a little bit deeper this Strenna. And for this, we have also introduced two persons who will help you. One is our dear educator, Roberto, who is a teacher at the Sacred Heart School, and Martha Rossi, a Salesian cooperator, who together will go up on the stage to ask you several questions, just a few little questions. But since you're very good, you will surely have 100 plus in this exam at this time. So the Rector Major is greeting each of the two educators who will be asking him different questions about this Strenna and giving him a chance to explain a little bit more. So we find ourselves here a year later. This is still making noise. Okay.
Prova. Forse questo meglio, sì. Noi ci accodiamo subito alla richiesta di Suor Leslie di poterla chiamare Don Angel e Sua Eminenza perché è già un po'... ok, grazie per la concessione.
We're very happy that we're going to be able to call you just Don.
Anche spiegare ai miei figli che cosa fa un cardinale. Non so se sono stata in grado.
So I have to try explain to my children who Cardinal is and what he does. I don't know yet what a cardinal does, so I wouldn't be able to answer right now. Let's begin with a deepening of this Strenna. When I've had this opportunity to the grace to read your text a little bit other before, the others will have the chance from today on to read it. This one of this year is very special for this year. It gives us a chance to look ahead to this year, which is very important, and also the fact that we have the dream at the center. Every time I read this dream of 9 years old, it's a beautiful dream that helps me understand Don Bosco. So here's my first question. Can you briefly explain what is the message of this Strenna? Yes. Thank you for this question, because the first thing that I want to say that I remember of a year ago, it was a special help. It was very chance to clarify with questions as they were asked. I enjoyed this moment. I continue to believe that all of us need to do is to really listen, is to read this Strenna. The video which we saw was a great symbolical and able to understand the language of the young people, which we really don't understand all the time, but I'm sure your children are able to understand it. They're already in this digital world. So I do encourage you to read this Strenna, first of all. Otherwise, you lose a lot of things. The main idea of this Strenna is to begin with Don Bosco's dream, vision, and offer you the dream the way he told it in the memories of the oratory. Then I had the idea, which is a very happy idea, to say, what did the rector majors say about this 9-year-old dream in the other rector majors? And I found so much richness there, and I couldn't collect it into one little book. But something interesting, Don Rua, and I didn't find anything from Don Rua because I asked a researcher a citation on the 9-year dream. Don Rua, it was just all natural because he lived with Don Bosco every day. But all the other rector majors, all the way up to Pascal Chavez, wrote very beautiful pages on this dream of Don Bosco at 9 years old. So I invite you all to pick up these documents of the rector majors from the beginning, a very extraordinary richness, especially in the 100 years, and now we're celebrating the 200 years of the dream. Third, we say that the dream, some precious elements in this dream. Some of these elements are, for example, the centrality of the young people. Today, we have the young people, the children, at the center of the dream. At the center of the dream, there is a teacher. Mary has a very special place, an exceptional place. Another aspect, which is very important, that I invite all of you to deepen, is the dream in the life of Don Bosco is a great work of vocational preparedness. We use many hours to show this is your path, help you understand your vocation, and you're not alone. You will have accompaniment. And last of all, I couldn't finish my service because you know that I didn't know that those who have registered this, everything was finished. I would go home, that there wasn't the, this is the last Strenna, and they took this idea to, it is true, it's the last Strenna, but 10 years ago, when I wrote my letter talking about my dreams 10 years ago, today, after 10 years, I finished the Strenna with 12 points that I think are very concrete guidelines, proposals, educational guidelines in our minister. Today, to dream Don Bosco's dream today means that today, this, and this, 12 different ideas that we can use. This is a dream, and that I've put into a little booklet that you can read in 2 hours. Arthur, when they ask you what is a cardinal, when my child said, "Where are you going?" I said, "We'll see this evening." So this evening I'll find out what my child says about this interview. The video really moved me very much. And for this reason, I have this question right now. Are attached to a particular part of the dream of Don Bosco. The part that talks about a multitude of children who are blaspheming in this context of war, of catastrophes in our world that we hear every day. For many children, young people, it is easy to be discouraged. So how can we keep these dreams of our young people alive? The first thing I want to say to professional who are in the video, like give an applause to these two young people who are in the video. They were part of the protagonists in the film. I have a bit of fear to delude those who are listening to us now, thinking that there is some special newness, novelty. There aren't newness, novelty, because our educational system, our way of doing things, from Don Bosco himself, and with that beautiful translation by Mother Mazzarello in the youth world, feminine world youth, is a geniality so great that I must say, surely we don't have anything new to discover. But yes, I would like to answer, how can we wake up the dreams? We can't do this taking a pill for a headache, but excuse me, everyone, we must begin, continue, do what we know how to do best, because we can't transpire. What I want to say, the first thing is to rediscover that a young person, that these young people that are with us can discover their dreams, is we have to find the young people. Where are our young people? And I say this even more, attentive. Are we going to wait for them to come to us? Because sometimes there's a risk that we have great big houses and we're there and we invite the young people to come. No, today the paradigm doesn't fit in the young world today. We have to first find the young people. Where can we find them? In the school, because they come to school, in the oratory, as we saw in the film, in a house where they're gathering, where they are. The second thing is, according to me, and I've said it other times, a very fortunate expression, to really live the sacrament, the Salesian sacrament of the presence, being present. We can have our young people in our houses, we can have them in our courtyards, and many of our young people are there. And they can be here, but we must ask ourselves, whenever we can, we have to be there in the midst of our young people. Today, too, in 2023-24, my life consecrated, or life vocation, whatever the vocation we have, I'd have to be with the young people, in their midst, to walk with them. And the third thing, making the way where I believe that is possible to listen. What are the things that are important to them? Remember, Don Bosco said, we have to love what the young people love, so that they then will love what we love. There's not another dynamic. That's the presence, the listening, the living with them, seeing what's important to them, even in the digital world. This is an obligation for us. I, for example, and don't know much about the digital world, but they know much. And so we must arrive at that point where we have a priority, where we can be successful in the personal relationships, authentic relationships, as educators, with the affection for our young people, that they feel that we are friends. And then we'll be able to speak with them. What do you feel? What do you think? Why are you sad? What do you want to do with your life? What is your dream? And then we can arrive at that point. Not just, come on, let's think about your dream, they'll say, what are you talking about? You don't even know me. How can you ask me these questions? So it is difficult. No, it's not difficult. Don Bosco never said, come on, let's go talk about your dreams. But Don Bosco said, live joyfully, do everything well. Let's go and play together. Let's go and do this together. Let's go pray together. What would you like to do with your life? These are the invitations to discover the dreams that we have. That's how I see it, and that's what I think about it as I wrote these pages. And I want to talk about the danger is that we do whatever we automatically want. Click, and we want it automatic. Click, automatic, the message arrives. In the run of our persons, interpersonal relationships and education, which is a process of interpersonal relationships, it takes much more time and delicate work. So otherwise we have to say to these two mothers how commitment it takes to educate a daughter, a son. Okay, that's how I would say it. So we're about to finish now. Continuing the dream of Don Bosco, and it was said to Don Bosco, in good time you will understand. The children today are used to just to click and have the results right away, and even the Communications Day this day is talking about the messages that sometimes seem to be so passing. So this idea of taking responsibility and making choices, how can we face this educated commitment with this passage of things that fascinate our young people today? I find the question very linked to the preceding one. According to my thoughts, the essential world, you said, is the passingness, ephemeralness. We can combat this culture of the passing things. In the first moment, we can't. Then we think that with all of our schools and houses and we can do things with our cell phone. I said in first moment, but then I say this in my ideas, first moment, no. First idea that's passing, ephemeral. These young people who are here, young people of today, actors of today, they already have their professional dream. Their dream, even if you do click, even if they do the click, but for them too, the ephemeral is not the idea of life that makes them happy. They want, we have a great instrument that is very precious. And I insist again, first, we have to define the pathway, walk the pathway that we said before this. What is the instrument that I'm talking about? Sometimes there are young people who, I saw some in this video, they cut the strings that were held in captive, and they discovered life or recognized some young people who combat this idea. Certainly we can change life even when has a ruined life. Others might not, but we, with what we have been able to share the life with our young people, this is what is so important. Be enthusiastic in all of our presences, much more the Daughters of Mary of Christians, the Salesians, the cooperators. We have hundreds of years. We have many more young people, many more educators, many others that are in the classroom teaching or at the door when our children come to the school. How can we bring them enthusiasm and bring ourselves enthusiasm? I'm convinced that the greatest measure of enthusiasm in the presence of God, with God, the greatest enthusiasm is true education miracles. In this sense, the passing things do take much attention today, but the life isn't just touch, or when it is just touch, we aren't happy, consecrated people, and couples can become tired of being together with it's just the tuck. Life today still is depth, and we go into the depth of our life, and here we have something to say, but not teaching as teachers, but as walking together. This becomes listening relationships, listening to a couple who comes to talk to you, to be present to that past people who comes to talk to you. I'm convinced that this is the strength that we have. We have another great magic instrument, providential, which is our preventive system, because it permits us to reach many young people, adolescents, not to reach that point that they can't be reached or saved in the slavery world. But this is very precious, that we can help them not arrive to that point, help them to have a full sense of life, giving them a space with the essential elements of living in that effect of feeling yourself a true person, the opportunity, a house that welcomes you, food that sustains you, love that tells you tomorrow is good to get up. These are things that I think the preventive system that we can live can be an accompaniment, the life of our young people. I say once again, we have precious instruments with our charism as a Salesian family. If you tell me one desire that I have, one of my greatest desires is to have greater enthusiasm on our part for this great gift. To his parents as well. Some here are parents. Some of you parents, it's not, but there are parents. They import many of our children, young people, adolescents in our houses throughout the world in the Salesian family have a problem that's called, I'm an orphan. How can you be an orphan? Well, they have a mother and father. They can have a father and mother and live feeling like orphans. I have house, I have food, but if I don't have the sustaining of a mother and a father who are with me, that listen to me, so that I can tell what my fears are and tell them what my dreams are, we can find many young people this way who are orphans today. That's what I see. My poverty, I see this. I want to go back to the particular idea when you said, we educators, and I put that in. The video went off, so I don't know what happened, and I'm not able to continue hearing what's going on. I think it's coming back. Good, okay. How can we communicate to children and young people? We find a great wall. What is this wall? Not with blows, in a world in which it seems like the children are playing, even the games are teaching them the violence, and the strongest person wins. So how can we talk to them about the nonviolence and meekness and style of life, as we were speaking of? I'm very much your first affirmation. Sadly, unfortunately, our world today is more violent than 23 years ago. Before beginning the 21st century began, it's a real reality, not just something that I think about. This is a story. The 4th of December, I received an invitation, a beautiful opportunity to go to the Consulate of Turin, a basilica that is very much led by Don Bosco. We went to pray, and I was invited to dialogue with the parents of the Salesian family, priests, diocesan priests, very, very, the bishop also invited me. I began that dialogue. At the end, I wanted to finish with a positive tone, but I began with a very simple question. I'm going to look in internet the situation of the last week of the month of November that talks about emergencies, educative emergency and violence. I found 10 news in the last week in Italy only. I could look in Spain and Portugal. Don't think any place is better than this. I found such terrible things. Even some children find 13, 14-year-olds bullying and a sexual abuse, 13 years, 14 years old suffered this. I found 10 newses. I felt in that assembly the sensation of tiredness, and we can't, with these news, I'm not being negative. I did everything to help them see the positive side. In one week, 10 points in Italy. It's true what you're saying then. They are faced with this negativity and violence. So what can we do? Once again, some things we will never be able to change automatically, but it takes a 14-year-old takes a phone. From his age of 12, he has had this phone. Mom, Dad, I want a telephone. If you succeed in to not give it to them until 12, you can enter into any of the most violent pages. this person has 18 years old and a 13-year-old. They open a world which we never enter, and they can find it the most terrible things. So, playing with their children, their friends, they do the same thing because they don't see a decision to see what this is bad and this is good. To prohibit the children bringing their phone to school because our progressiveness, saying no, is wrong. You can't do that. It's a problem in our schools, the schools of the world, is this. Now, after 20 years of the cell phone, we're beginning to say we need to limit the use of the cell phone in the schools. I'm not having war with the phone. What I'm saying is the one way we do have is not to make war on these things because they are stronger than our school networks. But we can, humility, meekness, serenity, all these we can't preach much, but I find it 2 or 3 elements that I say in the Strenna, which I think is possible. You with your little ones, with you with the myself with university students, I can say, dear young people, children, little ones, with the language is adequate to them. Now I'm talking to adults. I propose this challenge. Tell me what things you know best to interpersonal relationships that are beautiful, cordial with your young people, companions. A sensation of we're doing something for the others. If it's to give just to give a role to someone in the Stazione Termini in a cold night. Help, if it just a little bit, to create a space of peace where we can find ourselves. In our school, Salesian school, all violence is prohibited. Any type of vigilance. Imagine those who are older in our schools, animated by us, and then tell me if this doesn't help you feel good, even happy. So I think we do not need to say be good or be tranquil. No, that will not work. But I challenge you. Tell me 4 or 5 things that we can do to help you feel happier than this. I'm sure, I guarantee you that these young people, these children, even those who go to the university, to the Exilium, and many of our centers in the world, this has sense. Yes, this has meaning. We can talk about and think about this, encouraging of our companions. And we have a group of young people animating our Exilium, our OOPS. What will be more, which will be easier? This is creating a civilization of peace, of love. The bombs that are falling in the Gaza territory in Transjordanian, it's not a prophecy. Everything is going to be destroyed. And those millions of people have to go to other nations. This is for sure. So the Western world says beautiful words, but take this for example. We can't educate with one critical spirit. We have to be able to say the great values, absolute values are these, the peace, and then how to be just, how to build justice. The human life is at stake, and one human life is much more sacred than everything else. So I think this is what we can propose, doing some children with younger children, adolescents, young people. Speaking of this will help them reflect. And we do have a great potential. It's true. Governments have great power, but we have even greater power as a Salesian. Being present in a million houses with more than 4 to 5 million young people, we're all with us every day without being able to talk about the millions of people in our parishes and division groups. This is really a great potential that we have. As educators, we do have this potential. Am I too enthusiastic? Yes, and I am enthusiastic, yes. It's a contagious enthusiasm.
Ci dicono che dobbiamo rallentare un po' per i traduttori. Dicono la regia, beh, questo è frutto di chiedo scusa a tutti quelli che stanno
He's asking pardon for those of us who are doing the translation. Behind the problem, I go too fast. We'll try it a little bit slower. And another figure, central figure in the 9-year dream is the dimension, the maternal dimension. And Don Bosco is given a teacher. Each one of us has this path that we have someone who accompanies us, is interested to help us to create. Now you're here with all of the Salesian family here, educators, even grandparents and parents are here. So what could be a good suggestion to be committed to this educational mission, which does have its difficulties, but it can also have enthusiasm to overcome the difficulties. The most beautiful thing is that with the microphone, I can figure out what I want to say. The question is very beautiful. First, I want to say, but you didn't ask me, but it comes like this. So I want to share it. I want to declare in our family, Salesian family, and I wrote this several times to my Salesian brothers. If one person is a lover of Mary, for us, Mary Help of Christians, in his or her life as that sustaining element that accompanies each of us. If it is this way, you are not a Salesian if you don't have Mary as that has Mary at the center. So the Director Major is saying, if we don't have Mary at the center in our understanding of our Salesian life, our Salesian pedagogy, and our system, preventive system, if Mary isn't there accompanying us, if she's not present, then we may be a different educator. You're in another congregation, another movement, and go and find it. But you are not a Salesian of Don Bosco, unless you have this present. Mary isn't optional in our charism. Mary for Don Bosco is the guide. 62 years after that first dream, vision, Don Bosco on the altar of the Sacred Heart, where I put my hand, now I understand. In that, Don Bosco said that moment, that was the only altar, that was a finished altar, the Mary Help of Christians altar. The other altars weren't ready. The basilica was still in construction when Don Bosco celebrated Mass at the altar of Mary Help of Christians. But the most important thing is this. The second half. Besides Mary as our mistress, Mary teacher, another conviction that I have, that the young people, the children, the young girls and boys, the young people of today, in this culture of the digital culture, TikTok and everything, they don't believe very much in words, because the words are just a message and that's passed. But I see that they really believe in the testimony, the witness, and the witnesses that we give, the true witnesses. I have to say this, and I'm very convinced. Along my Salesian life, I've see the young people have an extraordinary sensibility built in, like a child for its mother and father. They understand when is authentic and when it is an interpretation. When you're here with me because you're here for me because you love me, or when you're here because you have the obligation to be here. When you're in the courtyard because you want to find me, meet me, or because you're here, what a chore for me to be here. When you're here teaching school just because they pay you, and when instead you're teaching us because you really want to be here for years helping us. I'm convinced that this is the point, the witness, the testimony of love. All of us here, even these young people who are here making a vocational pathway, but those of us who have many years, many of us have experiences because we've been near those young people in a youth center, a school or center. 20 or 30 years later, they remember that sister and remember what we shared with them. When my mother went to heaven 6 years ago, a full life, I found there in my little country 20 men and women, because I was 8 years older than they, a young priest, and they were in the at the university. They're about the same age as yours, with children. They're present there. I was moved by their presence. Why were they there? Because their experience that we lived in those years that I was there, a young priest among them with that experience, with enthusiasm, found those young people. There was an understanding between us, and even 30 years later, remains in their heart. I'm sharing with you my little experience, but I'm sure all of you have this experience. This is the magic of our educational system, this click with our young people, that they feel that they are loved, even when you have to tell them, no, You have to stay here until 8 o'clock at night because what you did was not to be done. I will be here with you. Call your house that you have to stay here until 8 o'clock. This is education. Education is walking together, and sometimes it's a path that isn't easy, but according to my understanding, your question, as Mary is the teacher, and Mary has to continue being that teacher to us. And if we want to do any good with our young people today, our dream today, linked to Don Bosco's, is to be this path lived by him, lived by Mother Mazzarella, which is to be a presence, to be a loving presence, walking together with our young people. The times are different, yes. Some difficult, not the same, but different. And we can arrive to the same fruits, yes. Today, there are more superficial things. Some things are lighter. Everything or things seems to be lost. No, nothing is lost. The young people that we have today will be men and women to be to reach happiness. If we reach them and help them to see what true happiness is, and not in the passing things. And if in this path we help them to in freely discovering God in their life, then we will have a wonderful, a beautiful work of art, which we have as a Salesian family. If we haven't learned this, you still need to learn it. In our houses, we cannot do anything with violence and nothing just religious, but it's preferable. I'm saying this, and I will receive letters that were not this. I receive those letters. It's preferable that our young people say that I don't go to Mass or I don't know my faith, but the Salesians, this doesn't matter of Christians, or this Salesian family, they are always helping me and let me feel free. And this is very important, essential. In the freedom, we can do many proposals, and if we don't learn this, then we do, nothing serves, which is, unless it's transparent and true and honest in education. On this, we are called to be, and we must be, alternative to today's culture. Nothing passing, but also nothing manipulatory in a world which there is very much manipulative. We have to work very hard and be different. I do believe very much in this. This is our last question. We're arriving to our last question. The field, Don Bosco's field, is very extended today. Our great Salesian field responds to very different needs of the young people, the children, boys and girls, families, all these viages, all of these travels that you've had in these years. What has remained with you? The field for me is for the Mother Chiara as well. For Mother Yvonne, it was what is now for Mother. For all of us, the field where we always found ourselves happy is the field when we've arriving at a Salesian house. I hear we are in the midst of the most needy. This is our place. This is where we belong. And afterwards, this field has many faces, many continents, many languages, many colors. I already said two. young people of the Colombia Medellin who were there were warriors, and we were able to be successful in saving them. This is marvelous. But I can speak of one of my latest trips when I visited Thailand in 2000, before the pandemic. No, it was after the pandemic. When I can finally travel again, I went to Thailand, and I went to in the place where the tsunami, Khao Lak. There, we had a house for the orphans of the tsunami, but fortunately, it was only once. 20 hours later, there's no tsunami, so there's no more orphans of the tsunami. So in that house, we reinvented a real Salesian element, a house in which we have children, young people from 5, 6, 7 years who are orphans, to young ladies, young men of 15. If they weren't there with us, they would be taken prostitute slaves right there near us. It is a house where we have 2 volunteers of Don Bosco, part of the Salesian family, 2 volunteers of Don Bosco, who are the mothers of these 5 small houses that they were able to open for the children. 1 couple of Salesian cooperators, who are the administrators, was 1 Salesian who accompanies for the spiritual life and formation, accompanies this, and the province sustains this presence with that what is from the schools that are able to pay, so they're able to sustain this project, and also the schools in Laos. This is an interpreter. Don Bosco said Mother Mazzarello would have done today. I can tell you many other ideas that I've seen. The children of the streets in Angola. There are many different realities works where we find the least who don't have a word to say. And when we are there, this is the presence that is the most beautiful presence that we have. Thank you. Fino, we finished. How nice. Thank you. As you see that I answer from my heart. As you see, it's not from books. Thank you for this accompaniment. There might be some question, some questions. Even if it's a very particular question, that would be fine. Yes. There's a novice here who wants to ask a question.
Forse un po' hai già risposto prima, però forse più riguardo alla vita consacrata.
I would like you to ask you from the point of view of consecrated life. Discernment needs time if you want it to be a profound. So how can we help young people understand this process and its beauty of this process, to understand the Lord's call on our life?
si vede che questa novizia ascolta tanto la maestra. Sta qui la maestra che non la vedo? Dove sta nascosta la
This
maestra?
novice is listening very much to the
Devo dirti che ti ascoltano,
novice mistress. I can see that they are listening to you, and they are young people who know how to extract. She asked a philosophical question, and I'm going to leave the philosophical question aside. I can make a question, ask you a question. The answer to the discernment and vocational path. What is your name? Elizabeth. A very beautiful name.
Elisabetta, la domanda per il discernimento è questa.
The question for discernment is, this what you're living now is making you happy?
Rispondi.
Sì.
Yes.
Sta la madre, la maestra che mi ascolta, la madre generale che è presente. Mamma mia, Don Ángel.
Don Ángel. How can you ask this question with Mother General and the novice mistress? But Elizabeth, everything else is abstractions, many words. When you find yourself with young people who are expecting you, they already know. But God, in His providence, the first thing is this, to bring your freshness, your youth, your newness, what you hold in your heart. On this, we have first ones. I'm not a Salesian of Don Bosco to suffer. I'm a Salesian of Don Bosco because I'm happy. This makes me happy, and I think this is what God is asking me to do. Come, you can say with young people, you'll be happy. So because I'm happy, I'm a Salesian today. The danger, if one is a Salesian of Don Bosco, daughter merit of Christians, or member of any one of our 31 groups, is not happy because there's a problem there. Serves also for the couples because we're a cuppy, but are you happy? The project of God will continue to work in you and mature in you because you use the word mature. So continue everything then with the young people that are waiting for you. Don't go to them with lessons that you learned from the novice mistress or from the books that you live. Go to listen to young people as to see how they are now. Don Bosco did this at Porta Palazzo, listening to the boys. Then in the midst of them, with them, and when you do this, they will continue, and you will be continuing, and you'll be sharing what makes you happy, and this will make them happy too. In the film that we saw, Don Pierluigi prepared for us, the register in email communication. At the beginning, we saw a young person, she's here, continue to say, you love me, you love me, you love me. In the meantime, she didn't have the freedom because she had she was tied up. Once she was freed of that, she discovered the beautiful way of living, and there will then arrive the true love. Why? To help young people. How to help young people is to walk with young people, help them to make a true happy, beautiful, heartfelt feasting. Everything works together, but in the end, beginning and ending, it really is the same reason that you said, I think I want to be daughter of Mary of Christians, but not being happy? No. For not being, to not be in the world that offers something good? No. For not waking up the world, as Pope Francis said? No. If we don't do this, it's rather than being a mediocre FMA, it's better not to be one. That's a conviction. The gospel tells us, come and follow me, with that radicality and newness, openness. I'm going to give a good night thought. Okay. Continue to be very happy.
Pregheremo per te, Elisabetta.
We'll pray for you, Elizabeth.
Ho spaventato qualcuno, alcuna? No, vero? Alcun'altra domanda? Vedete che già che siamo qui, vero? Già che siamo qui possiamo...
So that if there are any other questions?
Antonio Boccia, coordinatore mondiale dei Salesiani cooperatori.
Coordinator of the worldwide Salesian collaborators. Father of the daughter of Mary, Hope of Christians, who's next to his mother.
Senti, aspetta Antonio, quello che ho detto per Elisabetta che è novizia serve per te.
That what I said for Elizabeth also serves for you double wise. Did you understand the message? For Salesians, the same thing. Antonio. Something else, made a little bit more clear, not to avoid the error of presenting an ideal Don Bosco, but see Don Bosco with his difficulties and problems in real life. I see that you already had a chance to read it. You didn't read everything, but what Anthony just said now, it's my last chance, so I'm going to take a few minutes. This is a joke, but it also has some truth to it. A young person arrives who wants to be a Salesian. He comes from a youth center, and because he heard 4 things about Don Bosco, thinks that he already knows Don Bosco, and he already understands the profound understanding of the charism of Don Bosco, and he tells these 4 things that he listened to. This is not transmitting Don Bosco, Mother Mazzarella. No. What are some of the things that, according to me, the beautiful opportunity to contemplate this vision, dream of 9 years old? It's the same thing happened with Jesus Christ. Even today, we find people that everything was easy for Jesus, even on going to the cross was easy, that Jesus went as if he was drinking a glass of water. No, this is not true. That's a terrible understanding of catechesis when it happens that way. So what we see, Don Bosco, he did have to work hard. A journey of faith, had many faith to understand every day God wanted this for him, that Our Lady was accompanying him, but Don Bosco did suffer. Don Bosco ruined his health, and at 72 years of age was already destroyed. he saw how that dream and the beginning of the congregation were in very great difficulties. Don Bosco saw how Valdoco, many years after, was not the Valdoco of his first years. All of this Don Bosco suffered, not just the chestnuts of November. What I want to say is be attentive of reading Don Bosco in depth of Don Bosco's life, the center of the young people, the patience of the path with them, accompanying them to arrive to their own dreams, not forgetting that the teacher, Mary, is with us and helps us to do everything our young people. I also wanted to say, Antonio, be attentive to not idealize Don Bosco so much that he doesn't have anything to say it to us because he's troppo ideal. He's too ideal, so we have to be careful. He had to have great faith in his journey. In the moment of the foundation of the Institute, of the foundation in the Vatican, the foundation of the sisters, the Salesians, was already a different model. To found the cooperators in that moment, it was a very great problem because the bishops didn't understand. So you're also the reason for Don Bosco's sufferings. Thank you. Thank you, Donna. No, tempo. Time's finished. That was the last one. Does anybody have another brief history? Okay. Noemi. She was the coordinator for the Salesian Cooperators. First of all, I want to say thank you. We want a very big thank you from our hearts. But what I like very much is your insistence on patience. Sometimes we think that it's from ancient times, everything quickly, and instead to help our young people understand that they want everything right away, but this time of wanting everything even more quickly, help them understand that even patience is a beautiful thing. To wait the Saturday, the story helps us wait, desire. I think this is a very important value that we have to remember. Underlining patience. Thank you.
Dopo un viaggio di 5.000 chilometri in aereo per arrivare qui dal Sacro
Don't I have a few more minutes before we have to close? Two things. One, I very much in accordance with you, the patience, thinking of our young people, but permit me to share with you an experience for us educators in the world. Patience is tenacity, perseverance as educators. I'm speaking of the European world right now, not of other regions that don't have this problem that we do have here. When it arrives to them, I don't know. Personal experience that I've had here in Europe. I was a Salesian director in a house in Spain. Once I finished my service as a provincial in a school from 3 years old up to university, 18-year-olds. I was their director and his teacher of philosophy, history, philosophy. And I believe very much in the presence and the patience and the perseverance. I found myself with this, that many of our children, I see it today, I see it in the schools, the Salesian schools. When I go to breakfast after prayer, there's already young people, secondary school, waiting for school. Every day, we say good morning, good morning. 3 of them might respond. Even here we have to educate. Now I go to my story. To take care of this in Valdocco. I don't know if the FMA 35 or 24. Director in 2006, 7, and 8, in that time. Go up the steps and don't see anyone. I would go to the door entry to the courtyard, and then right away they had to go upstairs to the different rooms. With my Salesian pedagogy, I would place myself on the staircase where everybody had to pass by. And every day I would say, good morning, ciao, good morning. Oh, what a face you have. How are you today? Hello, ciao. Every day, I would do this. After 3 months, even after 3 months, and they started to say hello to me. But it's a little thing. It doesn't lose its value. If our children don't learn to greet us, and then we talk about the life dreams, one step at a time, but we have to begin. Parents, this isn't what the school should be doing. The parents should already be helping the children. A commitment for our parents to begin teaching already these manners to the children. So now I'm going to continue. I believe very much in this value, accompanying our young people until they permit us to accompany them. We are able to help them to discover what beauty there is, how everything in life mature, how they can mature, and how a friendship matures, how a school friendship develops, how the desire to go to the mountains can grow. We prepare enthusiastically for this, or we prepare afternoon of joy for the children of the school, mature relationship towards marriage, engagement. No, one step at a time, one step at a time, one step at a time. These are the things of the old people. No, this is the art of maturing. And this society where there isn't that maturing possibility, it'll be difficult for us to do it with all of the young people in the world, but we can do it where we do have our young people, help our young people to understand, discover the art of doing the step by step, which is going against current, which is not easy for them, but I find it fascinating. This is a bit my conviction and passion. Thank you. Thank you to all of you. Thank you for your help. My last time. Ciao. I have to say goodbye. Thank you. Thank you, Don Ángel. Our last Strenna, perhaps, but not the last time we get to meet with you. I want to thank our two questioners. Did a good job. And a very special thank you to Don Gigi for all this work and all of his team and to our collaborators in the formation and the communication. Okay. The community, we thank the community to fulfill this event. And a thank you to the translations.
Suor Merigano per l'inglese, Suor Franzin per il francese, per il portoghese.
Dom Aníbal per il portoghese, Dom Javier per il spagnolo.
Ok. E adesso diamo la parola a Madre Chiara che sicuramente sarà.
So now we're going to have Mother Chiara to express our gratitude to Don Ángel. I'm also embarrassed. I'm gonna ask the dear Don Ángel, Eminence Reverend Cardinal. We thank you very much for your presence here today and for this dialogue with the help to ask questions to you, especially for these Strenna that you have gifted us. I just want to highlight two or three things. This Strenna brings us back to the heart of our Salesian mission and our own vocation. I believe that each one of us, as we reread the dream of 9 years, we are moved because we pick up the path of our vocational choice as well. That began with this fascinating encounter with Don Bosco. And I think this, what you are encouraging us to do, to revivify our presence in this family today. I only read your presentation, but just today highlighting Don Bosco today, how would he like the Salesian family to respond? Is clear that we have to find the response together in our specific aspect of our Salesian charism. And I really do like this highlighting. And the other thing of this sense of presence that you called it the sacrament of presence, which isn't a new thing that we're just discovering, but it is part of our Salesian spirituality, but how we need to live it with greater presence, greater vivacity, greater conviction, because our young people still have the same needs and desires, even though the times changes. they still want that follow-up and help and presence. And finally, to think of Don Bosco as a person who did have special charisms, special, strong encounter with Jesus and with Mary, but he also had to work hard to respond to this vocation, and his faith wasn't even easy. He did have moments of difficulty, and those are same difficulties that we have to face in particular moments of our life. To look at Don Bosco, the origin of our Salesian vocation, can help us to revive our vocation, personal vocation, and also as groups of the Salesian family. So I want to thank you for this. And the last thing you said, teacher, it's the last Strenna, it's true, but you're not going to be free of us. We look forward to seeing you more. And so, so that you won't forget, we have a special gift that we want to give to you now in the name of all of us here. Just a little, it's just a little thought, but we do want you to know that we are here. We have to open it now so that we see what it is.
Questa è veramente un'opera di arte bellissimo e si collega direttamente con quella pagina della Strenna dove io parlo.
It's directly connected to the page of the Strenna where I talk of the Marian feminine dimension of our Salesian. This is a beautiful work of art with a feminine aspect. It will definitely come with me. Thank you so much. I love it. It will not be forgotten. And we're going to conclude with the song composed to accompany this Strenna. And thank you to everyone who is also present in streaming to be here. So we're closing now with this song.
Siamo tutti invitati a un piccolo spuntino che è preparato qui nell'atrio.
So everyone is invited now. Thank you for your presence today.